In your neediness, you repel. In your completeness, you attract and you become a magnet. In this video, we're gonna talk about why detachment is the key to manifest and achieve your goal faster. But also we're gonna look at how do you actually do it, because detachment is a nice concept, but it's not always easy to achieve. And so I'm gonna give you 3 simple little methods or tools that really work for me to help me detach, reduce importance on your goals, outcomes, and things you wanna create so that you can start manifesting things faster in your life. Now, if we had to break down any formula for manifesting, it comes down to 3 things. Number 1 is to have a clear intention, meaning a goal. Know what you want, set your desire, right? What is it that you're trying to create or achieve? Number 2 is to live emotionally in the end, is to have that emotionally elevated state. And the third step is faith, or we could call trusting the unknown, being surrendered, letting go of how, or simply detachment, and just trusting that things is going to happen. And a lot of people are very good at number 1 and 2 because there's a lot of tools and methods out there. But the third step, faith, is where we struggle the most, simply because the mind doesn't like not being in control. And for the mind, especially our ego, to let go to something greater, it often brings that fear of like, what if I let go? It's like I'm giving up. And if I give up, it's not gonna happen. And if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be miserable. And if I'm miserable, things go to shit. So the mind has this fear that if I let go, if I'm not over it, if I'm not obsessing, if I'm not focused on it, it's not going to happen. But we have to understand that detachment doesn't mean I'm giving up on it happening. Detachment, in a nutshell, in one sentence, would be simply like the feeling of whether this happens, great. And if it doesn't happen, great. I'm okay either way. I feel great either way. That is when you are really detached about the outcome. It's when you can emotionally feel like, you know what, whether it happens or not, I'm okay. I don't really care. Because you are in a state emotionally where you feel so fulfilled, you feel so whole, complete, meaning there is no lack in your state. And so when you are attached emotionally to something, there is lack in your state of consciousness. What you're really saying, what you're really emitting, broadcasting into the universe is that, well, without that thing or that person or that outcome, I'm not okay, I'm not complete, I'm not full, I'm miserable. And one of the easiest way to see this is actually in relationship, in dating. People who really want to manifest a partner, a SP or something of this, something like this, when they are too needy, trying to really obsess and really need that relationship and really need that partner to love them and shower them with happiness and all of these kind of things, they're often going to the state of neediness and obsession, and it kind of changes the behavior, their energy, the way they think and how they show up in that relationship and in dating. And things might be going well to a certain point, and then the other person starts to notice or smell it. Subconsciously, we smell when that other person is desperate or needy. And the one thing it creates is that it creates distance, and now the other person starts to withdraw, even though that person might have also wanted that person initially, but it acts as a repellent. So I realized that this was playing out big time in my life at the end of last year when I was doing my yearly reflection. And this is an exercise, by the way, that I strongly invite you to do as well, because you can learn a lot of great insight. Basically, what I did is that I took a piece of paper and I wrote down everything I've accomplished, created, and manifested, big and medium, in that year. And I just wrote down everything. And then I took another piece of paper and I wrote down what did I not create, achieve, or manifest yet. Yeah, maybe things that are on the way, things that have grown but not yet, or things that I've completely missed out on. And I started writing down, and I compared the 2 lists, and I asked myself a simple but very important question. Why did I achieve all of this and not all of that? What's the gap? Why did this happen and this did not happen? And what I realized is this simple thing. In that list of things I've achieved, I noticed that everything on that list, I didn't really care about it so much. Of course I wanted everything, right? But I wasn't really obsessed. It wasn't my priority. I didn't, if it happens or not, I would have been actually okay if it wasn't on that list. But what I noticed is that most of those things happen without me doing much about it. And they were quite some big things on that list as well, including getting a new condo, getting into a relationship, a good relationship, traveling to many places, getting a bike license and buying a new bike and some other things. So there was some significant goal that really made my year last year, but I didn't really care so much. Whereas everything on the other list were important goals, and especially money and growing my business. And even though I had increased my income and increased and expanded my business, I didn't reach that goal. And it was kind of driving me crazy because I felt like I missed out. So a lot of my work, efforts, and daily focus would be like, what do I need to do to grow my business? And why is it that I'm not achieving that goal today? And what I realized here is this, is because I was so obsessed, I gave it so much importance, meaning it was so much on a pedestal, I was actually introducing resistance into the mix, and it was actually evading me, and I was actually making it harder than it needed to be for me to achieve my goal. Because here's the thing, when you're not detached, what you're actually saying is that you are not happy with how things are. And this is the biggest resistance, is that without me achieving or being that goal or having the business being a certain way, I'm not happy, I'm not fulfilled, or things are not great yet, so I'm obsessing, I'm always constantly focusing on it, I'm always trying to do different things to make it happen. Instead of simply allowing things to happen, taking inspired action, and just letting different pieces of the puzzle come in together. And so this was a big lesson for me, something that really helped me change how I live my life in 2020. I try to always remind myself, and it's not always easy because the mind likes to lock you into something important, and it creates that fear of missing out, that fear of things not happening, and it's very good at trying to make you obsess over things so that it happens faster, until you can actually bring that awareness back and step away and be like, you know what, I'm gonna focus on living in the end state, having that clear intention, and letting the rest unfold, and just taking the necessary action that I need to do on my part. And whatever happens is going to be the best. And if this doesn't happen, something greater is going to happen. So this is now my philosophy about life, my philosophy about achieving things, my philosophy about going after the goal that I have. And it's been working amazingly this year, because not only I've expanded my business more than last year with working less, I've increased my price, I've had more clients, I'm making more money. So you could say that the results speak for themselves. But how do you actually do it? How do you actually detach? What is the actual process? And I want to give you 3 actionable steps that you can take, because it's not always as easy as it sounds. The mind likes to have that control over things. One of the core beliefs of the ego is that I need to be in control, right? Everything depends on me. And so I want you to really do those 3 things in your life. Number 1, you have to realize, be aware of how much importance, how much you've put that thing on a pedestal, and how it's actually making you feel. Are you obsessed? Are you always thinking? Are you always wondering why it's not happening? Are you always trying to control how it's going to happen? Are you always obsessing on where is it, why is it not coming? Obsessing on reading more books, watching more manifestation, forcing it and make it happen? All of this is a sign that you are living in the wrong end. You're living in the end of I don't have it now, I don't have it yet, and it's making me miserable. So the first step here will be to simply notice, okay, I've put way too much importance in this. I need to back off, and I need to start releasing, claiming back some of that energy. This brings me to the second thing you need to do, which is linked, all of the 3 are linked together, but you need to start changing the way you think about it, because your perception about it is actually what is creating that importance. Nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning we give it. For you today, $1,000 means nothing, fuck all, it's peanuts. Or $1,000 right now might mean everything to you because you need to pay something, right? You got a bill or you got something that you need to pay, and you're like, I really need that $1,000. But you see, it's just a matter of how do you see it? And so with the word we use to create the meaning, to explain things, to paint the picture of what that thing represents, and the meaning it holds to us, energetically, emotionally, mentally, we give it a certain weight. So when you meet that person, and that person is so great and so amazing, and we're so made for together, and oh my God, it's gonna be so great, and I really need it, and I can already see myself dating and do all that crap, you see how your mind is already putting so much importance, putting so much power into that person's hand. One of your goals might be business. Oh my God, I need to have this client and that money so I can be free, and so I don't have to struggle anymore. And so that, and your mind is creating all that meaning, all that importance around that amount of money and why money is so important in your life. So you gotta start changing and breaking down the thoughts that you have in order to bring less importance. Ultimately, it comes back to you knowing who you are. You're not just a body trying to create things, trying to beg for things to happen. You are an eternal, infinite pool of energy, an extension of consciousness that has tremendous creative power. And so you have the power to bring everything into physical form. But you have to notice and you have to keep in mind the formula for manifesting: a clear intention, elevated emotion, meaning living in the end, and faith and letting go, trusting that things are going to happen. So if emotionally you're living in the wrong end, it means that you're not surrendered, you're not fully trusting your own God self or your own belief in the universe that is going to happen because you've decided that it's going to happen. Third piece of advice here would be to cultivate more gratitude. You see, gratitude is that ultimate state of receiving. Gratitude can also be something that melts away the resistance, that puts you back in the right emotional state, that makes you feel like I'm so whole, I'm so complete, I don't actually need that thing anymore. I want it, but I don't need it. And there's a big difference energetically whether you need something or you just want it, but you don't need it. That thing needs me. And so I'm gonna sit in a state of appreciation. I'm gonna be so happy, I'm gonna be so full, I'm gonna be so whole that my life will have no other way than to reflect that wholeness back to me. And gratitude is probably one of the simplest steps to release importance. Because when you feel grateful and when you feel so whole, your whole mindset, your whole perception of life changes a lot. So when you notice where you put a lot of importance, and then you change the meaning you give to that thing, and then you practice more gratitude, more appreciation in your life, it's going to melt away that resistance, and it's actually going to bring you back in your power. And this is why detaching is so important. When you can really come to that place where you feel so whole and so complete that you don't need that thing to happen anymore, that's when you know you've detached. Of course, you still want it, but you don't need it to make you happy, to make you feel whole, to make you feel full, to make you feel loved, to make you feel abundant, to make you feel like life is shit otherwise. So let me know what you think, guys, in the comment. Detachment is a game changer. I hope it makes sense. Let me know what you think in the comment, guys. As always, if you like this type of video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. Be well.